on this next thing because there's so much power in... Where's that music coming from? Anyway, so there's so much power. There's so much power in repetition and practice and getting things down. As a matter of fact, the next thing we're going to talk about is the PR script. So this script, by the way, is something that your division managers and myself, Ryan Long, who is our region PR specialist and campus specialist, Hillary Winans, who has been involved with managing DRMs and DRAs and PRAs and ERAs. That's a whole lot of, acronyms there. Anyway, everybody has given us a lot of feedback. As a matter of fact, we called and spoke with and role-played with over 20 different PRAs around the region. We got a lot of feedback from various ones to learn and adapt an approach that we feel like can shorten the time it takes to go through the script. The old script that we had about a month ago used to take 8 to 12 minutes on the average for people to go through and schedule somebody all the way from beginning to end. The new approach that we have right now, our recommended goal is about 5 minutes. So we literally cut the time to schedule someone in half. This raises efficiency, increases number of schedules per hour, increases profitability. So when you guys run an office and you're paying someone, hourly to make phone calls, if you get twice as many people scheduled in an hour, that's, you just cut your costs in half. Does that make sense? So that was one of the objectives. The other is we wanted to increase our schedule percentage. Okay, because our schedule percentage we didn't feel was near high enough. And part of it was we felt the script and the time. It's a lot more difficult. So let me ask you this. If your presentation, your demo, what if your demo took, twice as long? So if your demo normally took, an hour and a half, it now took 3 hours to sell the same amount, right? The job would be a lot more difficult, wouldn't it? You wouldn't be as excited about it, right? Same thing goes, I think, for an ERA or PRA, right? Who's making calls, and they're like, I'm supposed to get X number scheduled today, and it's a beatdown if it's taking 8 to 12 minutes, right? So we want to increase our schedule percentage. We want to increase our show percentage. I'm proud to say that this script, when taught appropriately and executed the right way, we are getting those results. We are getting the results we desire. We're going to continue to probably work and tweak this approach and get it better and better and better, but we are moving rapidly in the right direction. So I want to take a minute to cover this approach. I want to go through how to train someone on this approach and how to implement this. Because if you're a brand new office, right, you're teaching brand new people when you first open up. You don't have your district manager's person who's been doing it for a year, right? Okay, so you got to teach them how to do it. Also, in your office, you probably need to add some more callers. Because I've looked at some of the scheduled numbers, and the set numbers can be a lot higher if we just had a couple more people making calls, right? So I've got some stuff here for you. Here's the keys to implementation. Keys to implementing this script, okay? Number one is the PRAs, the managers, you guys, candidates, everybody need to understand the whys behind the approach, the philosophies behind each line. And when there are misunderstandings or skepticisms or attachments to how you've done it in the past, we have to make sure that we explain those things. That increases the learning curve, okay? So if you just take a new script and hand it to somebody and say, hey, this is better, use it, okay? That doesn't work. And we had managers who did that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play part of a recording from someone who basically had the new script, but because they didn't quite get it, you're going to see that they didn't really stay on it. It wasn't coming across right, and guess what? The results were not as good as they should be, right? The second is you need to cover it one-on-one with them. you need to role play and make sure that they understand pace, inflection, right? And they understand that makes a difference. It's not just words, it's how you say them, right? And they understand how you're supposed to do that. And then, what I've put in this manual here is the whys. Let's just read through it real quick so that it makes sense to you. And if you'll look on this page, it says new PR script training and objectives, and go down to halfway down the page, and what I've got in here is in bold is kind of the whys behind each line. And this is so important that you go through each line with your PRA or with somebody you're teaching to help you make calls. So it starts off, hi, is this John? Oh, hi John, this is Lloyd. I work with your friend Dustin. How are you? Oh, great. Okay, so the whole idea here is, your name dropping friend, you're positive. Hey, how you doing today? Great. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm calling because we really need some extra help in our office this week. Okay. We're making it about we need help in our office, not your friend told me to call you because they thought you would be awesome at this. See, the old approach was all about your friend gave me your number, said you'd be perfect for this, and we think you'd do great here. And the reason why we didn't want to go with that type of an approach is, number one, it's not true in most of the cases, because what do they really do? They really just dump their phone. They didn't tell you, let me tell you about Susie, she's amazing and she would do great selling knives, did they? No. So we want it to be more authentic. We want it to be real. I think everybody here wants to be authentic. You feel better about it, right? And if you're a PRA or an ERA or a candidate and you're over and over and over again saying something that's not really true, does that make you feel good about what you're doing all day?
No.
So is that going to help your show? No. So can you see why this approach is going to help with the show?
Yeah.
Because you feel better. When you feel better, you project different, you make a better connection. Make sense? So what we basically tell them is the truth. Hey, we needed help. And so they went through their phone and they gave me your number. That's why I'm calling you. That's exactly what we did. And that's exactly why we're calling them. Because we need help, right? And here's the other thing. If you had the choice, and every person that you called could call their friend before they came into the interview, or not call their friend before they came into the interview, what would you prefer? Really? I don't want to call them. Now, we try to prepare them. We try to prepare them for the call. How often do your reps actually follow what you teach them?
Never. Yeah, never.
You ever listen to their phone approach or their recommendation approach? Or their close? Or anything that we teach them? Right? Okay, so here's the thing. The old approach motivated people to go, hey, what did you tell them? Right? Hey, tell me what's going on here, right? Okay, so this approach isn't necessarily motivating that as much. Is it still happening? Yes. But what if we are reducing that a little bit, right? And we do a better job of preparing them for a call, right? Either way, we're not over-embellishing all this great stuff that their friend told them about them. So they don't have to cover that lie either. So now we're a lot more, consistent, accurate, right? There's no misunderstandings. We're going to have a better show. Make sense? So that's kind of the feel and the vibe of where we're going with this. All right, so let me move through this. It goes on to say, hey, it's part-time customer sales service position, same thing that John does. Hey, your buddy, basically the idea, the tone behind this, hey, your buddy does it. It's cool. It's no big deal, right? And then you have to keep the pace here. Now, one of the things you'll see is that when you don't keep the pace, you have to teach where do you break, where do you pause, right? You have to go through this with your PRA or ERA. It makes a huge difference in how people are receiving it. When people kind of go through the approach, you go, blah, 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 okay, Okay, all right, and the next slide, and I mean, it's real awkward. It motivates you to interrupt, to ask a question, you lose control, right? You guys all understand these things, okay? This is all part of the training. Continue on here. It's really flexible. The starting pay rate is $15, okay? Again, that needs a little emphasis. You want to make sure that sticks in their head, right? Okay, the whole idea is, can you get through these first few sentences to where you can get to the pay rate? Because even if that person's like, well, I don't know about this, and then they hear the money, that's usually where they kind of go, all right, I'm listening, right? I'm listening. Okay, so you get the idea. We go on to say, listen, even if your schedule's limited and you can only help for like a week or two, or even just a few hours, we can still use the help. This is a really important line. We had some PRAs and ERAs out there that didn't understand this line. As a matter of fact, some of the people that you're teaching may go, that sounds weird to me. Who does that? There are jobs out there that people just say, come and work for a couple hours a day or a couple of weeks. And I had to explain to them that that's not true. And people, if they don't believe if they think that's strange, are they going to say that line with the right kind of conviction and make a connection? No, and I actually talked to a PRA who told me, I think this line's kind of sketchy. Actually told me that, right? And you know what? I'm so glad they did, because I bet there's other people that feel that way. But you know what? After I spent time with her, I said, you know what? Let me explain what this is all about. I go, maybe you just aren't familiar with it. Doesn't mean it's not familiar. And I said, so I've got a daughter in college, okay? And I went to college, and you know what? People oftentimes will say to my daughter, hey, by the way, do you babysit? Anybody ever been offered a babysitting job? Well, that's, how many hours a week is that? How often is that? Right? I mean, right? And you know what? You know what? A lot of people, if maybe they weren't looking for work, there's a lot of people who don't necessarily want a job in college because they're in school. But if somebody say, hey, could you babysit for a couple hours this weekend and make a couple extra bucks? They'd be like, yeah. I had fraternity brothers who, were way into fraternity. They were into school. They didn't have time to work. But you know what? We'd have alumni call in and say, hey, we need some help over here at my place. Can you send a couple of guys over? They can make a few bucks on Saturday afternoon, right? Guess what? They were all into going and making a few bucks. They go over there and help out for a project. You know what? There's seasonal work. We're going into the holidays. A lot of these college kids, they go and they sell, they're selling pumpkins in October. They're selling Christmas trees, right? For 2 weeks, right? They're going and helping out in the malls, over the break, because stores expand hours. Who usually fills late night shifts and weekend shifts? College kids, right? Okay, so this is very common, actually. So a lot of these people aren't necessarily looking for work. We're calling, and this is what I felt with the old approach. I felt like people were trying to interview people on the phone. They're like trying to go, hey, well, would you be good? Like, do you have experience? Well, have you ever worked with customers before? Well, we're looking for that. Positions are filling up. You better get in here. It's like, well, I wasn't looking for a job. You called me. Right? So it was almost like I'm trying to sell you on coming in for an interview. Yeah, but I don't want to go for an interview. I wasn't interviewing, right? And we were making it about that. Instead, it's like, just come in and talk to the manager. We can use some help. If you like it, you can continue, but come in, he wants to meet you. And we can use some help. That's the feel. Okay? Because why? We're okay with somebody doing a couple of demos a week, aren't we? Is that still a pretty good opportunity for somebody who's not looking for a job and wants to make a few extra bucks? Would it be a good experience for them? Could it change their lives? Could it open up doors for the future? Yes. So is this something we want to get out there to all their friends? Yes. When an ERA, PRA understands that, what happens? They have conviction. What happens when they have conviction and believe in what they're saying and getting them in? What happens to the show? Are you guys, do I need to review any more here to get it? All right, cool. So I think it makes sense, right? I'm going to play. So who here's ever gone to somebody and said, hey, they're not getting good references, and they're telling you it doesn't work, and you go, let me hear your reference approach. And they go, well, I'm using the approach. And then you say, well, let me hear it. Well, I mean, I basically used the approach. And then they go about it, and it's not, yes, they're saying the words kind of, but not really. This is very common. By the way, this is in one of the top offices, by the way, this, what I'm going to play. I'm only going to play 3 minutes of it, because after about 3 minutes, you've heard enough, and it continues to go off the rails after that. But let me just, here we go. Hello?
Hey, is this Lloyd?
Yes.
Hi, Lloyd. This is Jennifer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Hi, Lloyd. I work with the SBC division, and I actually work with your friend Johnson.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'm calling because we do need parties to help this week. And, you know, Johnson went through his phone and gave me your number, and he thought you might be willing to help us out and make some extra money.
Okay, what would I be doing?
Okay, well, what you would be doing is you would be working with the customers, you know, just meeting with the customers, explaining the products, answering any questions they might have, and helping them place orders, you know, simple, basic stuff like that.
Okay, what kind of product would I be working with?
Well, we market a product called Cutco, and what we do is we just work with housewares and, you know, select sporting accessories.
Okay. Okay.
And it's really flexible. The starting pay is $15, and starting if your schedule is limited and you can only help for a week or two or just a few hours a week, we can still use the help. And if it's a good fit for you, you can continue working.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? Alright, great. Well, have you ever done any work in the past, like working face-to-face with people?
Yeah, I've done some, I've worked with some people in my past jobs.
Okay, great. And do you feel like you're comfortable working with people?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Okay, great. Well, while I'm looking over my manager's schedule, what do you have going on the rest of the day today? What I'd like to do for you is get you in for an interview.
Okay. Well, I'm not really looking for a job right now. I've got a lot of school going on. I'm pretty busy.
Okay, well, just let me tell you this. We do work with a majority of students as well as people who do have other jobs. I would really appreciate about this one is if they're given the opportunity, to create their own schedule. That's what makes it, very easy to work around past commitments like schooling.
Okay.
Okay? Just wanted to let you know that.
All right. Well, I guess, yeah. Do you have any more information, or?
Well, I mean, what I would like to do is, schedule you in for an interview, and, since your friend Johnson personally recommended you, I think it would, really impress my manager, if you do come in for an interview, and you can find out all the information you need, in that time.
Okay.
Okay? Well, I'm looking over my manager's schedule. What do you have going on the rest of the day today?
Well, class until about, I think you already know. Anyway, so I think you can tell, technically they were on the approach, sort of, but it was awful, right? So I want to just play Ryan Long doing this real quick for you so you can have a contrast, okay? Now that you kind of understand the objectives of what we're trying to actually get done. By the way, that approach, even as bad as she was going through it and pausing and losing control and going off the rails and not answering things correctly, and it continued to go downhill, especially when we got into directions and everything else. Here's going to be, I have Ryan Long doing it here. Her approach takes 4 minutes. So just to give you an idea here. So I'm going to let you listen to this one real fast just so you can hear it in general. I'm going to cut it off before we get to directions and stuff. But I do want to make a quick point on the directions. This is a big deal. It's in the notes and you read through the rest of this. And that is that too many of our people are going through the directions, and this other person on this other one did the same thing. If you have to start going through directions and it's like, okay, you're gonna go down this street, you're gonna take a right here, then you go down the next one, you're gonna take a left, and then you go to this other thing, and you're gonna take another one, and you're gonna go past this place, and you're gonna take this, and it's like 12 steps. I mean, like, I'm not coming. I mean, I'm never gonna find it, first of all, and it's just too much work. So some of these directions are hurting us because we're going through that. And in today's day, nobody writes anything down. So one of the things we had to put in the script was, I need you to grab a pen and paper. And, by the way, you're probably going to want to use your GPS. You're probably going to plug it into your phone, right? Because that's what everybody does. And you say, I just need to let you know that sometimes the GPS in the phone doesn't get you exactly to our space. So I need to give you a couple landmarks in case your phone gets you close, but not exactly here. So pay attention real quick. I'm going to give you just a couple of things so that you're aware in case your phone gets you off track. Now, when you say that, people are going to be like, oh, better pay attention. Better make a note or two here, right? It's a big deal, but it makes it definitely is one of those things that will help your show. All right, real quick, here we go. I'm just going to listen to the first part of this so you can hear what it's supposed to sound like. All right, here you go.
Ring, ring. Hello?
Hi, is this Lloyd?
Yeah.
Hi, Lloyd. This is Ryan. I work with your friend Jason. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm calling because we really need some extra help in our office this week. Jason went through his phone and gave me your number because he thought you might be willing to help us out and make some extra money.
Okay.
It's a part-time customer sales and service position. It's the same thing that Jason does. It's really flexible and a starting pay is $15, so even if your schedule is limited and you can only help for a week or two or just 50 hours a week, we can still use the help. If it's a good fit, of course, you can continue working. So, Lloyd, can I assume that you're at least 18?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What would I be doing?
Okay. Like I said, it's the same thing that Jason's doing. It's part-time customer sales and service. What we just meet with customers, present a product, answer questions, write up orders, things of that sort. Do you like working with people?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Are you a student or are you working right now?
I go to school at University of Texas.
Okay, great. A lot of our best people actually go to school there, so that's cool. Well, we're looking for some help right away, so even if you can only help out for a few hours a week around school, you could make a little extra money, and it would really help us out. Unfortunately, we can't make a decision over the phone, but since you were referred by Jason, the manager would like to meet you and personally go over the details with you, okay?
Sure.
Okay. And just to make sure I have it right, can I get you to spell your name for me?
Yeah, it's Lloyd, just with one L, L-O-Y-D.
Okay. And your last name?
Reagan, R-E-A-G-A-N.
Okay. And can I get your zip code just to make sure I have you come to the closest office?
78734.
Okay, great. Well, Lloyd, since we're looking for some help right away, I'd like to get you in today or this evening while the manager is still here. Could you make it in today at 5:45?
Well, I have class till almost 5 o'clock every day. I'm not sure if I get it. I've got a lot of studying to do too.
Okay, do you get out, what, like 4:30, 4:45?
Yeah, I usually get out somewhere around there, but I get home at least by then.
Okay, and you said you have a bunch of studying to do?
I do.
You don't want to stay up late studying through it yet?
Yeah, most nights.
Okay, no worries. Well, if you get out at 4:45, we'll take you as you are, just come as you are, and you can come straight to the office and meet with the manager at 5:45. And since you already stayed up late studying, that will give you plenty of time to study afterward.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, great. Well, if you have a pen and paper, I'll make it your address.
Okay.
Okay, it's 3006 B. Case Road.
Okay.
We're right off of MOV0a2 and, MOV0a2 and B. Case right just south of downtown.
Okay.
We're in building D as in dog.
Okay.
And we're in suite number 300.
Okay.
Sometimes the GPS doesn't quite get you here, so I'll give you a couple of landmarks real quick till you find it.
Okay.
If you just go.
So anyway, you get the idea. A little different? Yeah. So you can see the difference there. I mean, so I want to just kind of put that in perspective for you. So anyway, it's important that we are learning our craft. It's important whether it's this script, whether it's your interview, whether it's, a PC with someone, whether it's, teaching somebody how to, make recommendation calls. the importance of making sure you can hear your people do it right, making sure that you personally have the right tone, inflection, expectations, that you understand why and what you're saying, makes a difference in performance. And that's why somebody can take the same exact words and get two different results, is understanding what you're saying and that you're doing it appropriately. So the importance of role play, the importance of mastering skill and understanding it, it does make a difference in your results, and you can hear it loud and clear between the two recordings there, right? So make sure that you're getting what it sounds like Ryan doing in your office, and when you do it, that same thing goes for all the other things that we're learning and developing. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody stand up. Can I do this quick? Quick dragging your feet. Get your butt up. All right, now walk all the way around the table. Yeah. All the way around, race around, get back to your chair, get that ball moving. All the way around, get back to your chair. Push, shove, back in your chair, fast. Just kidding, table tap. There you go, that's it. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't leave. We're taking a break here shortly. Grab a seat, we don't get a break. All right, we're going to bring up one of Vector Marketing's Hall of Famers, one of the greatest in the business. We are blessed with so much leadership within our region, and John Carpenter is one of the most handsomest men I know, most knowledgeable men I know, most well-dressed. Like I try to keep up with John every time we go to the conference, and John is also one of the greatest that has also helped create some of the greatest division managers in our time. As some of you guys know, he helped create Danny Feldman and also Dustin Marks and quite a few other, up to 6 division managers. So impacted, made a huge dent on the planet Earth with his leadership, and he's going to help you guys understand recruiting and efficiency and troubleshooting through your business. So he's going to help you make more money, so pay attention. Good morning, everyone. Everybody enjoy the factory yesterday? Fantastic. I love going back to Olean. I think I've been 25 times or 23 times or something like that. It is always amazing to see their enthusiasm and their excitement. I get a chance to talk to you today a little bit about recruiting, and as I get a chance to look at this message, I just kind of feel like this is the kind of message that Drew Frank should have gave. Really, he's the kind of guy that would really be good at this and could share. But he's pretty much good at everything. So if you guys don't mind, if you flip to the page, it looks just like this. It's got a Vector Live approach on there. Not approach, actually a picture of Vector Live stats. And Mark Bullard brought up earlier, he goes, I'm not a banker, and that's a CVI term for not a numbers person. And I'm a numbers person, but I'm not a detailed guy. I don't know if you guys know the difference, but I love numbers, but I sometimes am not the most organized person in the world. And I'm not going to look over at Hillary right now because I know that she's like, I sent you the text yesterday. I was like, yes, hold on, 3. That's my answer. So I'm not much of a details guy, but I know how to read Vector Live. And one of the things that is such a key ingredient is having a situation that you know is going to be really, really good for your front office, and knowing your business is so important. A lot of people just do not get it. They have no idea. And when it comes to details, I just learned to look for certain things that I know that I can handle. Instead of just going through all the minutia of everything you could ever dream of, I try to find little specific things that I think are going to be really, really important. One is, if you look at, I did a kind of a good approach and a bad approach, right? And Shelly, so you know the good approach on the front, or the good office, was the Dallas office this summer. So we were able to do a lot of really great things. But before I go on, I do want to make sure that a lot of you guys have DRMs. That is your friend. Kieran was our DRM this summer, and she was awesome. She made my job fantastic. Hillary Winans does so much unsung hero work with these people. It's unbelievable. As I walked up, I actually grabbed Hillary and I said, you know what? You probably would give this message better than I would, because she's so good at knowing what to look for and helping people. Your front office is always going to be the key to you getting off to a great start this summer. So a couple of quick things to look for. Like, see where it says scheduling percentage. This is basically the receptionist stats. We took out the names to protect the innocent and the guilty. But knowing what your schedule numbers can be. And a couple of pages in, I actually have some standards that we actually put on there. Now, I got all this stuff from Karen and Hillary because we want to make sure you guys are on the region program and knowing what to expect. Like, if you look at a scheduling percentage of 98%, 117%. Now, John, how can you schedule 117%? Well, you really can't. It's people going back and getting no-shows to show, people that they're kind of digging through the past when they have a slow day to be able to grab people. So 117% shows, our schedule is pretty unbelievable, obviously. And if you check it out, then we have a couple of things up there where it says 55% show. I look at some of those numbers, but if you slide over to the right, it has an efficiency deal. Now, back in the old days, we used to do a thing called the cycle report. We had to figure these numbers out on our own. And some managers would do it, and most managers would not do it at all. Because could you imagine trying to figure your efficiency and then your same-day efficiency, and oh my God, your head would hurt, and you're like, wow, I probably could have done a PDI call or anything other than what I'm doing right now. Vector Live does it for you. We stupefied it a little bit so that you can look over and go, wow, a 2.0 efficiency is very, very solid. Below 2.0 is really, really, really great. And we have a lot of fantastic girls and guys in our program that really, really do great with that situation. So if you go all the way to the bottom of the approach, our overall schedule number was 97%, our overall show number was 54%, and our overall efficiency was 2.02. Now this is kind of blow your head a little bit. This is minus PRs, because when you do this stat, you want to take out your PRs, because PRs heavily skew the numbers. That doesn't give you a real accurate number. So I know it's very fun to, on Saturday morning, get a chance to talk to you guys specifically about numbers, but you want good schedule and good show. Is that right? All right. Right. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. If you look down, the person below you may not be doing quite as well as the pilot office was doing. Overall, some of the people were okay at 96% scheduling, then it dropped to 85, then it dropped to 75, and dropping all the way down to 86% probably is not where we want to be. But the overall efficiency, if you slide over, is 2.64. So definitely a higher number. Again, at the top of the funnel, the more people that you can get to show up to your office, the more chances you have to recruit them. Will you agree? Yeah. It's very hard to recruit someone that's not in your office. It's amazing to get a 10K fast starter that never showed or got lost or just, didn't like your front office person and didn't show up. So very, very, very important that you take your time to get familiar with Vector Live. If you do not have a Vector Live account, make sure you talk to your manager when you get back so you have a Vector Live account, so that way you can start knocking out your PRs and all those things if you have not done that already. And it's okay to look at your numbers, right? It's okay to look at your number. It's okay to care about your business. I know we're all not just hype. Believe it or not, we actually want to make money and be efficient and have those things. I know it's not sexy sometimes to talk about that stuff, but you know what's sexy? A gigantic sales report and a crap load of people in training. Right? It's nothing better than looking at 30, 40, 50, or 60 people in training and going, hell yes, this is going to be fun today. Okay, you can not be amazing and still have an amazing day. That's for sure. Let's go to the next page real quick. One of the things I want you to write down on this page, this is kind of a great idea to structure your ER meeting every week, or your time with them, or your little PC. But write down 4 letters. Ready? T-I-M-E. In almost every language, that spells time. Right? With our reps, we always joke about how do you know they love you, right? Or how do they know that you love them? With time, right? I'm a parent of 2 unbelievable children, and I have pictures later if I have time to show you. But I will tell you this: when you care about your kids, you give them your time, right? You see all the Dr. Phil shows, and I don't have time for my kids, or I don't have time for this. God bless them. Okay, God bless them if you don't have time for your kids. When you're front office, the way they know they love you is time. Okay? I literally have a lock on my office door. like my personal office door, because I have time vampires, right? People that open the door and go, "Hi, how are you doing, John?" And all of a sudden they sit down, and 40 minutes later I'm like, "Okay, I have to work. You have to go." Right? One of my girls, and I won't tell you her name, but her first letter starts with a D, and the last letter starts with Athna. Okay? She's the reason I have this door, because she would just want my time so much. The first day I locked the door, I'm pretty sure she knocked her head. Like she just went, bam! Ah! It's locked. What's wrong? Okay? Okay? She needed a lot more time than I had to be able to give her. But just when you come to your front office, spend time with your people. Tell them they're doing a great job. Be excited. Be a good finder like you would be in a rep. I love listening to some of your PDI calls because they are hilarious. You're like, "Dude, hell yeah, you sold a stack mate!" You know, and I was like, "Oh my God. Stack mate's still the same thing I remembered as. Like, it's 3 pieces still, right? In a box?" You know, and I'm like, "Holy crap, it sounds like this person just saved, someone from cancer." I can think about the person that saved someone from cancer got less recognition than Joe that just sold a stack pay on a 5 pay that you can't even do. Like, how did they pay for it? Oh, crap! I gotta go back. Take your time with your people. Spend time with your people. Tell them how proud of you are, how proud you are of them, I should say, right? So talk about how they're feeling. Ask about their day, right? We've all seen the show Office Space. If you haven't seen the show Office Space, okay, you need to go watch it. Not in a second, but later, right? Did we ever tell you have a case of the Mondays, By the way, your front office, sometimes that happens. Outside influences screw up inside activity. Someone comes in and you're like, "How's your day going?" And they're like, "Wah, wah, wah. Oh my God, I had crappy school today," and whatever, right? I let them vent a little bit. I said, "You know what? Well, as far as I'm concerned, today, we're restarting your day right here at Vector. I can't deal with all that bad stuff that happened earlier, but you know what? I can help you right now. All right, let's set some goals today. Let's have some fun. You ready?" Right? Because how fun is answering the phone all the time? Not as much fun as it is taking a homemaker call for PDI, right? But those people are so powerful for us. But knowing what you want, the things the standards that you have, and work with your people on getting those standards. What's really, really great is your front office people strive for attention as well, and when you give it to them, sometimes they're so much more appreciative than your lazy reps. I'm sorry, maybe you don't have any lazy reps, but some of your people are really, really lazy, and you fight so hard to get those people to be fantastic, but your front office, those girls are rock stars. They are the ones that, I want to say that everyone matters, okay? God loves everybody, right? You need to love those front office people, or you will have nobody in front of you, right? And a lot of times we take them for granted. So when you're looking at your stats, train to the level that you want them to be fantastic, work with them because you want them to be fantastic, and if they're not fantastic, do something about it. And if you don't know what to do, reach out or grab some of these handouts. Okay, so take some time. There's some, look at the next page, some major do's and don'ts. Right? Praise the results you want repeated. Wow, what a shocker there, right? Seems like we've taught that before. Right? Show them that you care. Have some appreciation days. Every once in a while, when you go to Starbucks, bring them Starbucks. Caffeine is never a bad idea. By the way, I have no idea why they have decaf coffee. Do people just drink decaf coffee because they love the taste of coffee? Right? We can literally sell coffee, heavy coffee, major coffee, and syringes, and you guys would do it. Right? Wow, I found a way to go right past my mouth, right into my vein. And now you guys are all laughing, but a couple of you guys are like, one of you guys right now is even thinking, "God, but it's hot," but it'd still be okay. You rehab for heroin? No, I do coffee street. Okay, so you guys are really bad. So when you go to Starbucks and you buy your $19 coffee that you shouldn't be buying, right? Buy her one. It's double the pain. Right? So make sure you have your standards and make sure you're promoting and teaching towards those standards, right? Invite your RAs to your team meeting. But you can't just invite them to the team meeting. You have to give them recognition for coming to the team meeting. Because how much are you paying them to be at your team meeting? Nothing, right? So you want their standards to be high. You want them to be excited. Promote things. You're giving Joe Blow. I mean, God, Drew Frank can make the guy that sold $300 feel like he's a rock star at his team meeting. You know, making sure your RAs are part of that program as well. If they're there, give them that. Introduce them to your training classes and how important they are. Find good things about them that you can share and promote with them, which is going to be a really, really, really big deal. Okay? You know, there's also good schedules. Schedules are important because when you're working with your girls, if you have an inconsistency of schedules, everyone doesn't like it. No one gets happy and they complain and they don't do the job that they're supposed to do. So if you expect big numbers, make sure that you're doing a real solid, simple program that works. Okay? Are you running like a blitz meeting? You know, when you have your girls come in during the day for their PR blitz day. If you guys haven't heard of that, we need to have good, solid numbers. And you hear people that set up 50, 100, or even 150 people overall. Really, really, really fantastic. Okay, all right, so there's certain things that you don't want to do, right? Now, some of our front office people are a little more sensitive than other people that you may be used to working with. Some of you guys are high builders. Melissa, we were joking about the high builder part, and we were driving earlier, and she had the eye of the tiger, or the eye of something, Tasmanian devil maybe. And it's most like, oh, I get so mad when I'm just like, I'm on point, and they're like not doing it, and they're lazy. And I'm like, oh my God. I can just see like the builder, like there's a merchant somewhere, but they're nowhere close. That's it, right? And some of you guys are really fake too. You'll go, good job, do better. And you're like, I kind of got a compliment, right? So make sure that you're watching things that you say to your front office. If you want really good statistics and numbers, you need to make sure that you don't say things like, oh my God, is this all we have scheduled? Right? That's not good. Saying things like, oh my God, what happened? Why didn't anybody show? That's what you want to say. I understand, but you make yourself make sure yourself does it. By the way, don't show up late to the interview. Right? I used to joke when I was a new DM, my first interview in the non-summary at 1:30, I go flyer in the morning, and I would have I could figure out the exact time I had to leave my house to get there by 1 o'clock. Right? And I'm in sales. Oh, I got a long drive, no big deal. If there's traffic, I'm going to get there at 1:10, 1:15. And multiple times, I'm like, whoa, I made it! 1:30, I'm here. Okay? And my girls are like, oh my God, John, what the hell's going on? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There's 13 people in there. I'm like, I'm here! Starts at 1:30. I made it. You know? And what kind of interview did I do? Probably not the world's greatest. But the worst part is, I didn't respect my girls enough. Right? I was giving them the disrespect of showing up late to what they worked so hard for. It's like having a bunch of people and then kicking them all out the door, and they're like, wow, I just worked for a day and a half to get all these freaking people in there. We did a blitz day, and you just basically got rid of all the people that I brought in. Okay? They don't say that to you, but they think it. Right? Which is worse. Because then they're holding it in. Okay? I guess it would be worse if they did it in front of a training class and went off on you or whatever. But never criticize, condemn, or complain. Again, remember, all really great management happens one-on-one, right? Okay? You don't yell at people in your team meeting. Congratulations to Joe for a $10,000 week. And Bobby, you really suck, man. You went 0 for 10 today. Did you even do your demos? Are you using the sharp side of the blade? Oh my God. Let's be honest. You would never do that, right? So never criticize or condemn or complain. Really work hard to make sure that your girls are doing a really good job. Okay, it says simple things like don't flirt, don't things like that. I know you guys would never do this. Please, my God, do not do this. Okay, but make sure your reps aren't doing it. Okay, we have one of our assistant managers in our office. He thinks he's freaking Rico Suave. You know, and it's like every girl, it's like, hey, how you doing? You know, it's like that personal space, and he's like goes way past it. Or like, hey, back off. And he goes, I'm Latin, dude. It's what we do. You know? It's like I married a Latin girl. I get it, right? Okay, I can feel your Guatemalaness. Okay, you are hot, right? But make sure they get paid on time, and other things like that are very, very important. Okay, last thing I want to go over, because I know I'm going to be running out of time. The 5 things to listen for when you're listening to your receptionist. But I want to make sure as you're listening to your receptionist, you do not want to be big brother, right? You do not want to be standing over someone and listening to them in the back. It really freaks them out. I was listening to some manager and he goes, you know what, I want to put cameras in my receptionist room so I can watch it. And I go, wow, that seems like, are you having a problem with theft or stuff like that? He goes, no, I just want to be able to watch my girls. He goes, but I really don't want to put the big system in for it, so I'm just going to put fake cameras so they think I'm watching. And I was like, dude, that is wrong on so many levels, right? Okay, but make sure if you want to get really good statistics and good numbers, right, make sure you're listening to what their greeting is like, right? You know, your friends know you want them to feel confident. You want them to feel really, really good. And you want them to sound very, very approachable, right? Again, by the way, it's so cool to give somebody a job. For some people, it's not motivating to call and try to get a job. And for a lot of people, to try to make another call to get a job that, you know, to be honest with you, they're probably not going to get anyway. And that's what they're thinking, right? I got to go on another interview and not get the job, right? You have to do it. Make sure they sound good. Make sure they feel like it's really, really fantastic. Okay, more reception always helps. All right? Do they say their name? Do they say their company name? Right? I laugh so hard because in the show Office Space, the front office person, if you guys are in the front office and you know, it's like, can I go back to her? Can I help you? You know, and she says that like 10,000 times a day. Or at least it feels that way. So, you know, what do they sound like? Are they starting the call with a smile? You know, Lloyd and I know, what was Glenn's last name, by the way?
Matt?
Yeah, Glenn Mack. My wife was a receptionist for a little bit, and Glenn Mack, I don't know what kind of personal life skills he had, but his main job when the interview was going on was to entertain the receptionist. And he did this until he got in trouble. One of Glenn Mack's things to make the girls laugh, he would try to balance on a chair without falling. Now, I'm not sure where you put that on a resume as any kind of real skill, but it made my wife laugh when she'd answer the phone, and she'd go, oh my God, we had such a great day today. Glenn was in our office the whole time. And I'm thinking, like, from a manager standpoint, I don't want one of my assistant managers to be balancing on a chair while they're on a call to make them laugh. But it worked in some weird, crazy way. And Glenn was like 9 feet tall. It was really, really good. Good Baylor kid, by the way. Okay? Are they following the script? Right? So are they following the script? And making sure you're not crushing them. If they follow the script, let them finish, right? And then bring up the things that go, hey, you know, you did such a great job on so much of this. A couple things I'd probably have you work on to just this and this. Okay? I promise you, if you follow the script, it's going to be really easy. And the script is right in front of them, right? And your new girls are really good about following the script, and the more experience they get, sometimes they go off the script. Or they go, oh, I don't need to read it because I've already done this 1,000 times, right? Making sure that they have confidence in questions. Hey, I'll let you in on a little secret, by the way, is our front office girls need to be good salespeople, right? When a customer gives you a question, you heard Lloyd do over the PR approach, Lloyd would say something, and the girl that wasn't so good was like, silence, right? Silence is deadly, right? Have questions. Are they answering the questions correctly? Are they answering the questions with the question? How do they sound? Sometimes they rock like crazy on the phone approach, and someone goes, well, what is it selling? And they go, really, really sharp knives in people's homes, and they cut rope. I don't know, they're really weird up here. Right? You guys do the same thing. Some of you guys are amazing on the phone approach. You're like rock stars, and they go, what's the product? You go, it's called Cutco. Have you heard of it? That's awesome. Okay? I mean, that happens, by the way. It really, really does. Okay, so make sure that they're doing a good job with that is going to be really important. How do they schedule? Okay, making sure your girls feel a little positive pressure. Last two couple things. To schedule people same day. Right? I know if it's later in the day, it's harder. But if you want your girls to have really fantastic numbers, make sure they're doing SDE, same day efficiency. Same day scheduling is such an important key to make sure that they have those things going there. Okay, there's nothing wrong with flipping through some papers to find the right time card. You know what? Mr. Carpenter has some time at 4 o'clock today. I know it's a little short notice, but do you think we could squeeze you in? What do you think? You know, just getting people to feel confident that they can do it. Because most of our people do absolutely nothing. You know that, right? Okay, I hate to say this, but all of you have ADD. You're going to catch it if you don't, right? What's the new thing that's going to get you sick? Gifts. Okay, 4-second bursts of crap that you just laugh at and go, it's again, and it's again, and it's again. Okay, right? My son is making himself literally retarded by watching these things over and over and over. And when he really likes them, he sends them to me, and I watch them, and I go, stop, stop, stop. Okay, I don't need to take drugs for this. Okay, again, go back to the first thing I talked about, right? Efficiency really happens because you care and because you're taking the time to spend with your people. Take the time to look at your results, look at your numbers, and pay attention. When you get back to your offices next week, ask your manager to explain to you and walk you through some of the processes. If you need to, the next time your manager has a call with your DRM, ask if you can be part of that call and listen to the things that they're talking about. This can be such a big helpful thing because we want everyone to be fantastic, and getting that front office to go great is going to be good. All right, guys, thank you very much.